You see them every single day. Those big, slow trucks. Their huge round drums are always spinning, making a low rumble. They're slowly driving to another building site. We're talking about the concrete mixer truck. And even if you just think it's a regular big machine, let me tell you, without this quiet hero, our modern world just couldn't exist. Think about it. The tall skyscrapers, the long highways, the strong bridges, the huge dams. Almost every big building and road built in the last 100 years started because of this simple but very smart invention. But here's the real story. This humble truck fixed a huge problem that builders had for thousands of years. How do you move a material that starts getting hard the second you mix it? How do you get fresh, ready concrete to a work site far away before it turns into a solid, hard brick? The answer isn't a quick story about one super smart person. No, it's a tough, determined journey that took many, many years. It was born from a big need, with ideas that got turned down, big fights, and people who just never gave up. This is the real, hidden story of the concrete mixer truck. Concrete, how we use it today, has been around for thousands of years. The Romans, who were amazing builders, made their famous water pipes and colosseums using a mix of lime, volcanic ash, and water. But back then, they mixed concrete by hand, right where they needed it. Then they poured it right away. Why? Because of science. The moment you add water to cement, sand, and gravel, a chemical change begins. You have about 90 minutes. That's it. 90 minutes before that wet, soft mix gets too stiff to use. If you mix it too early, it gets hard and useless long before it arrives. By the late 1800s, America was growing fast. Cities got bigger. Building projects became huge. Everyone needed a lot of concrete. But how they made and moved it hadn't changed much in hundreds of years. Around 1900, a man named T.L. Smith in Milwaukee made one of the first real machines to mix concrete on a job site. His design had a drum that could tilt with blades inside, pretty much like the basic mixers we still see. At the same time, in Ohio, a German immigrant named Gerhard Jaeger was working on his own idea. In 1905, with just $12,000, he built the first portable concrete mixer. He started the Jaeger Machine Company. His mixers became very important tools on building sites all over America. But here's the problem. These early machines still couldn't carry the concrete. You still had to move it from the mixer to where you were pouring it by hand or in a wheelbarrow. That 90-minute clock was still ticking down fast. Then came a truly wild idea. On February 9, 1904, in Germany, a man named Richard Bodlander got a patent for something truly new. He called it the mortar mixer. Bodlander took the front wheels off a cart pulled by horses, put a big, spinning drum with paddles inside where the wheels used to be. The smart part? As the horses walked, the drum actually rolled on the ground. This rolling kept the concrete mixing. For the very first time, concrete could be mixed while it was being moved. But sometimes, a great idea doesn't work well in real life. This machine was super heavy. The horses struggled. Dirt roads got messy, and it was almost impossible to make sure the concrete mix was good when your power came from horses walking slowly on rough roads. Bodlander showed that moving concrete while mixing was possible, but he couldn't make it easy to do. Now meet Stepanian. He was born in Armenia in 1802. He came to the U.S. in 1906 and lived in Ohio. Stepanian wasn't just an inventor, he was a builder. He knew concrete work very well, from doing it himself. He even became boss of a big rock quarry and concrete company. He saw the problem, lived the problem, and in 1916, he asked for a patent for what he bravely called a self-discharging motorized transit mixer. This was not a horse cart. This was a real truck with an engine. It had a mixing drum built right onto the truck's frame. The drum would spin all the time while driving, keeping the concrete fresh. If you reversed the drum's spin, the fresh mix would slide out a chute.
This, friends, was the clear plan for the modern concrete mixer truck. But in April 1917, he got very bad news. The U.S. Patent Office said no to his request. The reasons? No one is completely sure. Some historians think officials simply couldn't believe a truck frame could hold the huge weight of a drum full of concrete. Others point to questions about him being a citizen back then. Still others say there were no similar patents before, so it seemed too strange. Whatever the reason, Stepanian didn't get credit for his amazing idea when it was most important. But he didn't give up. He planned again. But while he fought, other people moved forward. Because Stepanian couldn't get his first patent, history officially says a different man invented the first recognized concrete mixer truck. Ascart Bickel was a builder and engineer in Kansas City, Missouri. In 1920, he got U.S. patent number 1,363,340 for a machine he called an apparatus for concrete work. Bickel's design was a big step forward. No horses. His truck had a steering wheel, a gas engine, and a strong truck frame that could hold a mixing drum full of concrete. In 1920, the first group of these transit mixers, based on Bickel's design, started working on a big road project in Kansas City. His company, Transit Mixer Firm, was the leader in this business for 10 years. But Stephen Stepanian never stopped believing in his dream. On December 21, 1928, 11 long years after his first try was rejected, he asked for a patent again. By then, the technology had gotten better. Truck engines were stronger. Truck frames were improved. The concrete business had grown a lot. On November 21, 1933, Stepanian finally got his patent. A paper saying yes to a concrete mixing and transporting truck was officially given to him. At a big meeting in Chicago in 1954, thousands of people from the industry gathered to honor him. Stepanian was made a special lifetime member of the group's board. The crowd cheered him as the father of the ready-mix concrete industry.
In 2004, 40 years after he passed away, the American Road and Transportation Builders Association chose Stepanian as one of the 100 transportation professionals of all time. Justice, even if it took a long time, finally happened for him. While Stepanian was waiting for his patent, other smart people kept making the technology better. In 1930, Charles Ball from Milwaukee got a patent for his mixing and agitating machine. Ball's design had a much bigger drum. It could hold more concrete than any mobile mixer before. He also made better drum shapes with more blades inside. This made mixing much better. Ball's machine even had a water tank built in. This let workers control how much water went into the mix, very important for good quality. The 1930s brought huge highway building all over America, connecting big cities. Everyone needed a lot of concrete trucks. Then came Roscoe Lee. On Christmas Day, 1934, he got a patent for his transit concrete mixer design. Lee's idea was all about saving money. His system used a crane to put a drum, which you could take off, onto a regular truck. When the concrete job was done, you could lift the drum off, then you could use the same truck as a flatbed to haul other things. For smaller builders who couldn't buy trucks just for concrete, Lee's design was a big help. By the 1940s, engines and truck frames were finally strong enough for the hard work of moving concrete. Stronger engines handled heavier loads. Better truck frame designs held bigger drums. When World War II ended and a huge building time began, concrete mixer trucks became truly important. New homes, office buildings, shopping centers, and highways were built faster than ever. Rebuilding cities hurt by the war also created a huge need in Europe. By the 1950s, bigger drums became normal. Trucks that once carried just 2 cubic yards of concrete could now haul 6, 8, or even 10 cubic yards per trip. The market kept growing, and it hasn't stopped since. Today's concrete mixer trucks, even with all their fancy upgrades, haven't changed much from Stephen Stepanian's first idea. The main idea is still the same: a strong spinning drum on a truck, mixing concrete while it drives and pouring it out when it gets there. Modern mixer trucks usually carry between 8 and 12 cubic yards of concrete. These amazing machines weigh about 20,000 pounds empty.
but they can carry another 40,000 pounds of material. Most have 4, 5, or 6 axles, sets of wheels, to spread out that huge weight safely. The drum itself used to be heavy steel. Now sometimes it's lighter fiberglass. Inside, spiral blades still push the mix one way for mixing and the other way to pour it out. Water systems are much smarter now. Many trucks have separate tanks. They add water to the dry parts of the concrete as they get close to the job site. This makes sure the mix is as fresh as possible. Front discharge mixers, first patented in 1974, let the driver control the chute, the slide where the concrete comes out, right from inside the cab. And volumetric mixers carry all the raw parts of the concrete in separate sections. They mix them right on the job site for exactly what the customer needs.
So who really invented the concrete mixer truck? Richard Bodlander showed the idea was possible with his horse-drawn mixer in 1904. Stepanian designed the first real truck that mixed concrete in 1916, even if he didn't get credit until 1933. Oscar Bickel built and got a patent for the first working truck mixer in 1920 and put it to use. Charles Ball made the truck's carrying capacity much bigger in 1930. Roscoe Lee made the technology cheaper and more useful in 1934 with his drum that you could take off. And Gerhard Jaeger's smart ways of making things helped send this important equipment all over the world. Each of these brave people built on what others did before. They were pushed by a big, urgent need. The concrete mixer truck we see today came from all their hard work, a team effort over many decades. The next time you're briefly stuck behind one of these slow, giant trucks, don't just see a truck. Think about what's really happening inside that spinning drum. Science and physics are in a silent, desperate race against time. That mix has to keep moving, keep spinning, or it dies. From Bodlander's struggling horses to Stepanian's big dream to the super smart machines we have now, the concrete mixer truck is still one of the most important but often unnoticed inventions in building history. It truly doesn't get the praise it deserves.